I was given a giggle today, so I thought it'd be nice to share my giggle with the ones I love the most. You guys. I was at the post office today renewing my passport and I needed a pen. The lady's like, he's the only one with the pen. It was like a black guy, early 30s. He had the pen. So I said, can I have the pen? He says, yes, but he won't release the grip on that he has on the pen because he's like, I know you. And you talk about very interesting topics. You have a very interesting train of thought. And I was like, does that mean I can't have the fucking pen? So he's like, you can have the pen, but I have a question for you because I also have a podcast. And he's like, do you believe that today's woman is more masculine or feminine than they were back in the day? So naturally, I'm like, well, it depends on the type of woman that you're dealing with, whether or not you believe she has more masculine traits or feminine traits. And he's like, oh, I knew a woman would say that when I ask men. They're just like, they know the answer. And I'm like, oh, he took that answer as I was indecisive. Nah, that was valid as fuck, and that is my answer. He's like, well, no, just men answer more quickly. And I'm like, just because you answer something quickly doesn't mean that you're correct, right? Quickly means quick, it doesn't mean correct. So I'm like, what is your definition of masculine? He's like, not feminine. And I'm like, and your definition of feminine? And he's like, not masculine. And I'm like, I really thought that if I said, like, what is your definition of a dog? He'd be like, not a bird. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, nah, I'm talking about, do you think that women were more feminine before that like whole feminist movement? And I was like, what is the feminist movement? And he's like, I don't know. You don't even give a fuck to know. And I was like, well, do you understand that before that movement, women didn't have rights? Like we couldn't vote, we couldn't work, we weren't paid equally. Like we had to fight to be equal. And he's like, I'm not talking about all that. I'm saying, like, do you think they're more masculine? So I'm really trying to rock with him. And I'm like, okay, well, masculine, by definition, masculine traits are like assertiveness, strength, courage, bravery, competence. So do I believe that after that feminist movement, women started to pick up on these traits? Yes. You know, hopefully he'll just leave me the fuck alone. And he's like, I'm not talking about courage and strength and all that shit. He's like, I'm saying, like, do you think that women are more masculine than like your grandma, like back in when your grandma? And I'm like, and I'm like, oh, you want to compare today's women to back in the day women? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, before we had certain rights. And so the lady's like, next. And I was like, Father, you don't come when I call you, but you come on time. So I finally make it up to the counter and I can hear him having a conversation with an older black gentleman. And he's like, why do you think today's like relationships, marriages are like breaking up? And he's like, well, back in the day, you know, men like me and like other men wanted to be married. We wanted to provide. We wanted to do that. And nowadays you just see a lot of like broken homes, a lot of men doing their own things. They don't really want to provide. Homeboy was like, no, women are breaking up like the family so that they can get checks from the government. And the older guy's like, I disagree.
He asking this older man at the post office why women just wanted to be single mothers so that they can get government assistance, and the older man is like, no, you know, men are leaving the households and we need to stop that. Men need to step up and be providers. And he's like, no.
So you believe that women are breaking up their happy, healthy homes in order to get $114 from the government? That's really what you believe? Whew, after that giggle, I was like, have a nice day.
Women can't go backwards. Women can't go backwards now.
You heard it. Women can't go backwards. Backwards on what?
This is just a quick tip. I didn't know that these conversations happened outside of the internet, and I'm disappointed that they do. But if you do want to have these podcast baiting ass conversations, like in person, please give a fuck about, I don't know, information.